A major decision out of the Supreme Court, and it could reshape political power for decades. The court striking down Louisiana's redrawn congressional map in a 6-3 ruling, saying the state relied too heavily on race. Justice Alito writing, because the Voting Rights Act did not require Louisiana to create an additional majority-minority district, no compelling interest justified the state's use of race. That map is an unconstitutional gerrymander. Now, this ruling narrows how the Voting Rights Act can be used, and it could have a massive impact. Let's take a look over the wall. The Supreme Court said that states cannot draw congressional boundaries to create majority-minority districts. In other words, draw gerrymandered districts to ensure that, for example, you have a black congressman or congresswoman. Now, a lot of states across, notably the South, have done so over the last several decades. Presumably, all of those maps are now up in the air, capable of being redrawn. Up to a dozen House seats could shift. Democrats, of course, are calling the decision devastating, and they're moving quickly into full-on panic.
This is just the 21st century version. This is Jim Crow in new clothes.
It's the end of an era. This is the bill that John Lewis was beaten almost to death to get passed. This was the crowning achievement of the Civil Rights era, the crowning achievement of Dr. King's life's work. It's part of why he was murdered.
We just can't sit back here and do nothing. We're going to play their game, and we're going to beat them at it.
In the words of Supreme Court Justice John Roberts, words that he has now echoed over several decisions, the best way to stop discriminating on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. Don't draw congressional boundaries based upon race. And if states do that, which Florida did very quickly, as you can see, then it could give Republicans 4 more House seats from Florida alone. There are, of course, going to be legal challenges. And Democrats are fighting. They're fighting hard because this threatens power, not only because of redrawn maps, but because come 2030, with the United States Census, people in this country moving from blue states to red states will also shift power. Look at this. In 2030, with just people in the U.S. moving from New York to Florida or California to Texas, you could see a significant shift, not only in congressional seats, but electoral college votes that go to the presidency, shift massive power to Republicans. President Trump and Missouri's Attorney General are among many pushing also to exclude illegal immigrants from the 2030 census. And if that reaches the Supreme Court, it could be game over for Democrats.
We all know that people are leaving blue states, going to the red states. We all know why they blew open the border to try to add to the voting rolls. But their real concern, Will, is the 2030 census.
Yes.
And that counts illegals, remember. If that goes the way it looks like it could go, especially with Donald Trump getting these deportations done, they're not looking at owning the House for a very long time.
Anchor and executive editor of Special Report, Bret Baier, joins me now. Bret, really good to have you in Dallas.
Good to see you.
So I think sometimes, Bret, talk of redistricting, even the word gerrymandering, can have the effect of turning people's brains into white noise.
Yeah, it's like glaze over.
It's boring. You and I've seen the ratings. They go down.
So thanks for the segment. Thanks for the segment, Will.
But the truth is, Bret, this is massive.
No, it's a huge deal. And tying it all together as you are is a good way to do it, because you're talking about a shift not only in the demographics of these states, with Republicans moving to Texas and to Florida, but also to the numbers of these redrawn districts that are significant. And anybody who says that this Supreme Court ruling is not going to have reverberations, they're wrong. It's going to. And you're already seeing states considering redrawing based on that ruling directly. And while the politics for Republicans don't look good right now as far as how the race for the midterms is shaping up, these numbers are starting to look better as far as the districts they may pick up.
And for 2028 and 2030, because you're talking about plus 12 to Republicans, the census moves it even further. And by the way, if you don't want to take my word for it or Bret Baier's word for it, I think you just have to listen to Democrats. They see this coming. This is why they're talking about packing the Supreme Court, adding D.C. and Puerto Rico as states to get 4 new Senate seats.
Right. I mean, they see the train coming down the track. I mean, you can forecast that you're going to have trouble in elections, especially in certain states, for a long, long time if they don't figure out how to do this. That Supreme Court ruling, I think, is starting to get fully digested, like by the politics of Washington. And that's why you're hearing some of those cries.
All right. What do you think about this, Bret? Just in the last couple of hours, we've seen now the House has passed the DHS funding bill. It ends this partial government shutdown, 75 days running, but still nothing for ICE and CBP.
They're partially funded from the previous bills, but they haven't fully been funded, and they're going to be funded, Republicans say, with reconciliation. In other words, the House and Senate are going to get their act together, and they're going to pass with just Republican votes this budget, and that's how they'll get funded. It's probably going to take a few weeks, though.
Yeah. By the way, Bret's here. You also have a new book out, The Case for America. I just flipped it open a moment ago. It's a nice personalized copy for me.
You got it.
And the first thing I saw was how to disagree better. How do you make the case for America?
Listen, it's like making a case in front of a jury of your peers about looking at history and why this country is great, the resilience, the optimism. And sometimes we need to remember that. And ahead of the 250th, thought this was a perfect time. It uses all the presidents I've written about, plus interviews with interesting people around the country.
And it's out next Tuesday?
Tuesday.
There we
5th.
go. All right, The Case for America, Bret Baier. Always good to see you.
Thanks, buddy.
Good to have you here.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.